Hi, and welcome to PJ and the Beard. This is our 19 conversation series. This is episode 56. And on this Memorial Day, I don't know, we're kind of pushing the wire to get here to you.
Yeah.
So I think first of all, we start off with just, the purpose of the day, maybe just, the reason everybody has off work, and sending a little thank you out to all those people that I guess in this case would be all the people that gave their life for the country, right?
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Morning to Sean. Sean's here early. Hey, Sean. Pete, Brody, usual cast of characters. That's awesome. Look forward to hanging out with you guys every day.
I'm using a little different technology today, so I'm trying to make sure I can see the comments. And so far, I'm not super successful, but I will work on it as we go along here.
And Jack the Rabbit just showed up. What's up, Jack?
What's up?
So yeah, I know this has been it's crazy day like that. What's going on outside that the grass is growing so fast?
Oh my gosh, I know. You could almost literally go outside and watch it.
And then my neighbor had the bright idea to go outside and mow, which of course made my wife sit there going, you really should go mow.
Yeah, that whole uneven. I have the benefit of mowing my one neighbor's yard, so I can decide when the yards need to be symmetrical.
Well, and I thought I could maybe get away with it. I was like, just because he's mowing doesn't mean I have to. And then the other neighbor started mowing. I was like, here we go.
It's a conspiracy.
Here we go. I'm toast. So that's what happened to me today. And then all kinds of problems ensued after that.
Well, then that led to you trimming a tree, and it just didn't stop with the grass.
No. Never does. So we had a question. What's that called? Never mind. I got it.
Okay.
I think. We have reviewed a bunch of Love Pedals, though. Yes, we did. We did a full episode on that. All right.
Nice.
You were one. We had a question. It's like 10 seconds to start, and we couldn't remember whether we did an episode on the pedal Pat picked for pedal of the day or not, and we did. So now that we've figured out you're working on your technology, I'm trying to figure out a video. We're really not paying any attention. Lawn Wars, Jack the Rabbit said, yes, peer pressure. Yes, it is peer pressure. It's ridiculous. And then the other thing that's going on, we said we got back to telly, and I showed that the other day. So there it is for anybody that was following along. I feel like Wilson right now.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, neighbor. We got it back, so it has the Bigsby installed, and flip the control plate, put the Texas, or not, I always say that, Texas, the Twisted Telly pickups in it. And so this is all good. So we're working on the episode because I shot the before clips before we sent that to Chris. Got it back from Chris, shot all the after clips, and you will be able to tell from the video that I am not a lighting expert because it's like night and day, which, these were shot at one time and these were shot at another time, which I figured, we'll claim that was done intentionally so you can tell the more yellow the clip is, that's the pre-quote upgrade, and the more white the clip is, that is the post upgrade.
Yeah, the telly got cured from jaundice. It was nice.
Yeah, I can show how bad it is, because we can do stuff like that. So here's the editing of the video, and right now you're seeing bridge pickup, twisted telly, right? That's the twisted, and then when it switches, oh, oops, clicked on the wrong button apparently. Let's try that again. Boom. Then when it switches. Much different color. So I'm not a camera expert. Cut my head off on one of them, then cut my head off on the other. Whatever. But we're piecing that together, and hopefully, because this was pretty. For anybody that knows what the Premiere Pro stuff. I mean, for the videos we make, this was pretty edit intensive. There's a lot of edits going on. So hopefully we'll have that out tomorrow. Clip of the day?
Yeah.
That's all you.
I wish I could remember how I came across her, and this is not necessarily an extension of the joke that we started the other day about who can find the best looking female guitarist. But I came across her, Laurie Basilio. I was watching something and she popped up, and man, she is really, really great. And so we have we have a normal like minute-ish clip of her, and she's actually playing a tele. So she's really great. Take a listen.
All right.
Clickety doo dah.
Boom. She makes it look so easy.
Oh, I know, right?
It's like it looks effortless.
Yeah, like everybody should be able to do this.
Let me play the
Right. And I thought she was really great at being melodic and then kind of picking her spots, where she kind of threw a couple little flurries in there. But she really does some great chords, and she was really great. I haven't gone too far down a rabbit trail with her, but I just think it's cool because, again, we were kind of joking back when we grew up-ish. I mean, there's a little bit of an age gap here, but, you go into female guitarists, it's like, oh, there's Lita Ford, and there's Jennifer Batten, and that's it. That's not the case anymore.
Oh, you know what? Yeah. And I have a female guitarist for you. So remind me that one of the next clips, I have a female guitarist.
Okay.
Yes, I do. And I would love to see this girl live. I haven't seen her live, but I have watched a good bit of her stuff, and she is killer.
Yeah, I've got a couple more too, right? And I don't know. It just even feels weird just talking about it. I'm not sure how I came across with Jamie Stillman from Earthquaker, because he has quite an eclectic artist family, and I like to call them artist families. And but man, he had the lion's share of female guitarists, and I'm not sure how I came across when I was talking about that, because it's still a little bit of an anomaly, right? Like you got people like Orianthi, and some others, but there's just more and more guitarists. And what I found interesting with Jamie's guitar family is that they were really interested in effects and pedals, and so we're not exclusively going to feature females, but I think we're going to keep going down that track.
I feel like I saw some statistics on buyers, people that are learning to play and buying guitars, like current statistics, and it was a lot more females than it used to be. And it's a great thing. I mean, it's just kind of like I'm a science teacher, right? So like if you can feature a woman in science, I think it's a good thing, because I think a lot of times that's not always at the forefront. You know what I mean? Like you think of a scientist, you think of a guy in a white lab coat, right? You want to change that perception a little bit, right? So
a guy in a lab coat that has gray hair that maybe combs it every once in a while. Maybe. I don't know.
So, I mean, he's I think it's cool.
So Brody's like, don't forget about Susanna Hoffs and Vixen. True story. There's more to come, right? It's just weird. I guess I'm going to stop talking about it, but it just feels like if you don't mention it, it's kind of weird. And then if you talk too much about it, it's kind of weird. But I just think it's just really great that
why do you gotta be
more and more people are liking guitars. What's that?
Why do you got to be so sexist?
I know, right? Like if you don't talk about it, well, you're not good. If you over talk about it, you're like, well, you've been living in a cave for the last 10 years. Of course, there's female guitarists.
Brody said Bonnie Raitt. Yeah, Bonnie Raitt. I mean, there's.
Oh my gosh,
once you start thinking about it, I guess there's a lot out there.
Yeah.
Brody asked about the Switch.
Yeah.
He said being a guy that doesn't like to change anything, but he could see where that would be valuable. Talked about that. And I did that. I'm trying to think where I got that from. I did it on my hot rod telly. So that was done first on the 50s hot rod. The one like yours with a mini bucket. One like Brody's. Chris has done it too. I had Chris do it for me on that one, and I don't think at that time he was doing that. And I don't know if that inspired him or if he just at some point started doing it, or maybe because he's not a big telly guy, maybe he did have it done. I don't know. But anyway, it's if you use the volume knob a lot, it's really nice. It gets it right up there. All right. So Zah's in the house. Zah, you must be wrapping up school here soon, for whatever that means.
Right.
Jack said his favorite female guitar player is Sister Rosetta Tharpe. Yeah, there'd be another one that we could feature. See, you say there's not as many, and then you feel stupid.
Right.
I do not know. Zah asked if we know Rammstein, and I'm not familiar with that.
German metalish band, I think.
I'm not familiar with them. I feel like I've heard them, but I'm just nothing's popping.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the comments. I'm not doing a very good job. So I have the comments on my phone, so you'll get to see my finger a lot during this broadcast.
Pete said there's always been chick guitarists, but not so many. They don't need a guitar to pick up blokes.
Yeah, so maybe we'll keep going down this path. Maybe not every day, but like we'll keep featuring some female guitar players. Sister
Rosetta Tharpe would be a good one.
Is that the African? There's an African American woman that plays like a 3 pickup like SG custom.
Baby, she's an old blues player.
Yeah,
and I do think she played in SG.
Yeah.
Jack would know probably, but yeah, I think 3 pickup SG sounds right.
Yeah, Brody mentioned Sheryl Crow. I mean, great at the instrument, at least from a songwriting perspective. And she's a great bassist. I mean, she'll play bass on her own tour. Du hast, Jack the Rabbit. That's true. I'm sure that, like, to use Pete's vernacular. So, Sally, why'd you pick up the guitar? To pick up blokes? Probably not. Hashtag things never said by a girl.
Jack, you say she's gospel. Was she totally gospel, or did she do some blues stuff too? Because I feel like I know her through the blues world, but I guess she could. I mean, the gospel and the blues world do cross so much, so too. So maybe I might not have thought about that.
When I was at Songbirds in Chattanooga, they have like a small performance stage in the museum part, and then have a bigger venue at the spot. But they have videos playing in the background, and she was prominently featured in like a video that was on a loop at Songbirds. That may have been one of the first times I'd seen her. But yeah. Let's solve that problem right now.
Yeah. I have to go back.
Her. Yep.
Yeah, that's her.
It might be one of the clips I saw because I feel like she was wearing the same outfit. Good news is you can get schooled on gospel blues and get your windows replaced for 20%. So that's nice.
Brody threw out Susan Tedeschi.
Yeah. That gets overshadowed by her husband, right?
Never felt. I mean, I'll tell you what. Get her credit because like to get up and play that band. I mean, she's a good guitar player. She was touring by herself and playing her guitar before her and Eric were together and had CDs out and stuff. But
Brad Miller said that he's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's cool. Cleveland rocks. Za was asking us if we know of a guitarist named Silas Fernandez. I do not, but our ever-growing list of names tossed at us during our chats.
to look up.
Yeah, it's like I've got like memoirs down here of all these names and things.
So, are we done talking about girl guitar players?
Are we ever going to be done talking about girl guitar players?
Well, I know I'll never be done talking about women, but the specific conversation on girls guitar players, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there might be some things pop up in the chat, but I think as far as like, the agenda for today's meeting, I believe we have expired the point from the paper here. So,
Right, so Silas Fernandez, he's a Brazilian guy, and then down below Zaz says because her favorite guitar shape isn't the SG. Whose favorite guitar shape is the SG? Started in church. I just catching up on the comments. Jackson started in church and went secular. Well, I mean, you can hear there's a very big blues influence in the 30 seconds of that clip we played. Big blues influence. Of course, she started singing, and it does. It has that gospel feel to it. And I'll be honest. I mean, I love that. If you want I went to see Buddy Guy one time, and the Blind Boys of Alabama opened for Buddy Guy, and I have seen them probably 4 or 5 times since then. If they come to town, I'm going to see them. And there's not many bands I say that about anymore because I'm getting old and crotchety. And
you can't sit for more than 20 minutes unless
I can't
it's something you really like.
But the Blind Boys of Alabama live, man. My uncle, who passed away not too long ago, he ended up going to see that show. They played at Whitaker Center in Harrisburg. And we went to see it. I went with my father, and my uncle was there. And we were walking up. My uncle was like, if you would have told me, that these guys were going to roll in here and turn this place into a gospel revival, I never would have believed you. They had every single person in the Whitaker Center on their feet, clapping, singing. Great. Great.
Very cool.
Check out Dana Fuchs. I think I've heard that name. Oh my gosh, so many girl names throughout. But nobody's mentioned the one that I'm thinking about. That's why we're going to cut the conversation right here. So when I bring her to the clip tomorrow.
You be the man.
Yeah, I'm the man. It was mine. Nobody gave it to me. So, all right. So, pedal of the day.
Yes. I'm going to have to put my glasses on for this one. I want to say that my purchase of this pedal inspired Brody to purchase a pedal, which is a very hard thing to do. It's like having Jason sit for more than 20 minutes. But I put my glasses on because he was very careful in his selection of this pedal to get one that you can actually see, because it is the Love Pedal Custom Effects HSR3. And good luck to you for seeing what any of the controls are, but I'm going to read them to you.
Come on. That is about the worst.
It is, right?
The worst design for font and writing on any pedal.
I admire Brody for I'm going to get what I want, and I'm going to wait till I get it. And he got one that is actually readable. But it's really basically decay, pre-delay, tone, and mix. And then the toggle switch is Hall, shimmer, and modulate. So I have it in the middle toggle because we've talked about shimmer here in sort of the worship space, for lack of a better term. But this is a great pedal. I talked before about the Electro-Harmonix Canyon, which I bought first and put it on my bigger board at church. And this is this has your typical 9 or 11 settings, and I use it for shimmer. However, as far as strumming through a whole chord and have it track in some kind of quasi-predictable way and fatten up a chord that sounds like there's a keyboard pad under it, this is the one right here. It's a fantastic pedal. I have it on my travel board, and I guess Jason did look. We did do a whole episode on this pedal, but it's also on my travel board. It's really great, and it doesn't have to be just used for house of worship or whatever. Like if you're playing, I don't know, even something big like Purple Rain or something, and you want just like huge sounds, this is it. This is how I have it set. Brody found a different version of this pedal that actually had some background colors and knobs you could actually see, but this is a fantastic pedal.
Yeah, we ended up with a couple love pedals that we both had.
Yeah,
like we both kind of ended up, it was kind of before the show started, so we both had some of the same pedals. Those have pretty much gone now. I don't think there's doubles of anything.
We still might both have. Sorry, go ahead.
That is one that I would probably buy.
We both have the EPH3, the Tape Echo.
Right. Okay. Yeah, we do. Both.
But this would be worth doubling up on, right? But then it's kind of weird too, because then you get into your Matthews Effects Astronomer territory and some others. But really, Shimmer on this particular one, I think, is really, really great. That's what I would say.
It's probably maybe one of the better ones, I think. Even the Matthew Effects Astronomer, I love, and I love it for multiple reasons. One, that it has 2 channels basically on it, so you can set up a shimmer and a regular reverb and you go back and forth. Really great for that. But that one, the shimmer on that one, every time you use it, seems to be really, really good.
Yeah, it's great.
And again, I'm still leaning towards, maybe I just want to end all the. I kind of like the individual pedals that do the one thing, but I'm really drawn to the Collider by Source Audio. I really, let's just take care of that long delay and shimmer reverb and stuff all at one time with some presets. And I don't know.
Yeah, I see that Robert Randolph entered the chat. Oh my gosh, yes, I saw Robert Randolph and the family band at the Ram's Head in Annapolis, and it was glorious. What an amazing. I hate to call it a show, because I think there's a purity and an emoting that comes out of that. That probably happens when he's sitting in his studio at home. But yeah, Robert Randolph was fantastic.
Brad says he saw him open for Clapton. Oh, you poor thing. I mean, I'm sure that was a hard night. Jeez.
Yeah, it was almost like Robert Randolph is brilliant on the like the pedal steel and lap steel, and almost when he went to play a regular standard electric guitar, I'm like, yeah, go back to the other, because you were just magical on the other one. Yeah, great.
And I really am not a fan of lap steel. Pedal steel, not a fan. But when Robert Randolph plays it, I'm a fan. Here's that link to that pedal that we were talking about. That's the episode with the HSR3 reverb on it.
Yeah, Brody said the hall setting is really practical too if you want to chat a reverb like on a Tweed. Yeah, it's a great pedal. Like, I mean, I have it. The way I have it set, which is I'm assuming is the way I've been playing it, is I have the mix the whole way up. I think sometimes the hardest thing is for something like this is just trying to figure out like where the pre-delay setting happens. I think that's the one that really
I don't understand that.
Yeah, I don't know if I fully understand it. I just know that like that pedal is key, or that knob.
Kind of how long. It's how long before the reverb kicks in, right? Like, so you hit a note. If you have it really big, you're going to hit a note. There's going to be a space, and then you're going to hear it swelling. But
yeah, I mean, I have it like at 2 o'clock. Actually, it's kind of funny. I have every knob at around 2 o'clock except for the mix, which I have at 100%.
There's Tim from TL Pedals popping in.
Tim, you're sorry. Oh my gosh, you're jacks, man. You want your pedal to be an always-on pedal, because you try to pull a jack in and out of there. It's not easy. This will be featured with our video about the modded Telecaster. When my portion of the playing, I did some overdriven stuff with your honker, and I believe you are correct. It does have about 5 times the amount of gain as a 808.
That's awesome. And so hopefully we'll be able to record some sometime very soon, right?
Yeah.
We haven't really talked about
Tim's
today, but that's the plan.
Tim said the pre-delay is first reflections. It's like the size of the room. Okay. Yeah, I have this shirt on because I was doing my portion of the Telecaster video today. So Jason's kind of trying to drop the shark in the tank and is trying to commit to maybe having something that can be released soon, because we've done so much of these that we're looking to try to get some other videos out, and Fender was kind enough to send us those pickups in that.
You should
Bigsby.
probably send me a picture of the honker and the Carl Martin that you used. And when you say that, I can put the picture overlay in like I did for the the game changer that I used in the first part.
I can do that. I have an iPhone. Uncle Bri just woke up from a long winter's nap. Too much barbecue.
So what do you think? I mean, if all goes well on the editing,
I'm letting you put a timeline on it because I'm not the guy who has to sit behind the computer and make it happen.
if all goes well, I mean, there's a chance. It depends. I know I have a lot of work to do in the morning. So depending on how long dinner and walking the dog and all of this takes after this, you know, if I can get back down here later tonight, it's something. I mean, it's pretty close to being edited. I just need to edit your part in, and we have one more part that we kind of need to record the final thought set, and we're going to probably do that in this format right here.
Right.
Back that on. So once we do that, you know, I would really like to see it go out tomorrow. I'd love to see it go out tomorrow at noon. What was our typical release day?
It was Wednesday, Saturday.
We care at this point?
Nope. Nope.
So,
yeah, I mean, I don't know that there was a whole lot of research done for that particular release, but you know, I changed the schedule of other videos that were being released, not related to our YouTube channel. So sure, do it. I think everybody is still mostly looking for something to watch and to do. So I think you could put it out anytime.
yeah.
Uncle Bryce said he was working last night, driving, bringing toilet papers to the masses. That's not what he does, but he does drive truck.
And I think that we've kind of guest-wise, we're just talking about this kind of out loud because your opinions matter, because you've been hanging out with us in this stream, and we appreciate that. I do not think there's still a few kind of loose irons in the fire, like people that said yes that maybe never got back. I mean, I'm still thinking that maybe someday Keely will email us back. You know, it's like you say yes, and then how many times you ask after they say yes and not get an answer before you're just like, well, maybe yes was just to be nice and he doesn't really mean it, or he's too busy right now. So
yeah, it's such a weird situation, right? We've said this probably every day. Some people have a lot of time on their hands and looking for something to do, and some people are as busy as a one-armed wallpaper hanger. And so we kind of feel like we'd like to capitalize on some of these a little bit more than soft yeses, Robert Keeley and Zach Broyles from Mythos, but we're just trying to be respectful of what these guys might have going on. And I don't know, it's that fine balance you walk of like being persistent but not annoying. So,
right.
So it's not like we're good.
Jack said he hates saying I edit it. It sounds bad to me.
Well, you will find that most of our videos, the editing for us is more about how to stitch it together, and that's my term, how to stitch it together, than it is like, oh, we played horribly, let's fix that. Because if you don't believe me, go watch some of our episodes.
You know, it's funny because it's fun. It's fun to do. Like, I enjoy it. I enjoy, like, once you have like all the pieces, the challenge of like, so, you know, can I show that again? Like, I mean, just because it is interesting. And thank you, Brian, for the nod on the editing skills, because I know Brian has been putting some stuff together, and he says he has a new respect, and it just is something you learn. Here's the thing: we watched. There's a great video out there. What's that guy's name? Andy.
The
guy that did the video with
with Henning.
Yes. So I think his name's Andy, the guitar geek or whatever. Did a video recently with Henning, and he was basically interviewing Henning about how do you the point of the video was how do you make money with the guitars? And so talking to Henning about, is this a viable career? What does somebody need to get into it and stuff like that? So first of all, I'm going to put it right out there. Pat and I've never thought of this as a viable career. It is something that we do strictly for fun. 10 years from now, depending on what would happen with it. I mean, I don't personally ever see it growing to a point where it would be something that we would do full time, unless we were retired. But I do see it. And here's what I would say. I think the thing that Henning missed. So Henning basically said, to do it well, you have to get all these cameras, you have to get all this equipment, you have to get these high-end mics, you got to do all this, you got to spend all this time. And he did say there's a huge learning curve, right? Because you got to, if you're really going to do it, I don't know if this matters to anybody, but if you're really going to do it, you got to learn how to set up a camera and get a decent picture. Maybe not a great picture, but a decent picture. You got to think about lighting. You got to think about mics. Like our mic, the way we're recording vocals right now, it's kind of terrible. We're using the wrong type of mic. It's what we have. You can see them in the video. I mean, everybody knows that we're not doing it right.
Right.
But you got to learn about all the lighting of the camera, how to record the sound, how to get the sound from amps, how to get all that in one place. So how then do you, how do you take the sound when you have, your vocal mic's picking up the guitar amp? How do you duck that out so that it's just your vocals coming through when they're supposed to be coming through, and just the guitar when it's coming through? How do you mix that sound with the video? How do you get the things lined up? There's a really, really great video. If you go and you look for, and it was just recent, that pedal show, their guy that does their editing did a video on what the back end of that looks like. And his process is about 85% of my process, the same thing I'm doing. Which made me feel really good. Oh my gosh, I'm really doing a lot of what he's doing. But here's my point, because it takes me forever to get to it. He's like, oh, here we go.
I'm laughing because it's usually me. I'm not sure if this is a newfound skill that you acquired from hanging around me, or this was in your repertoire before we met.
Educator, right? The thing I think Henning missed is, for you, because he talked a lot about how there's so many skills that you have to get: the editing, the filming, the sound, and that didn't even get into, the back end of YouTube and making that work, the social media aspect of it, we could go on and on. We started this in January of last year. So it was a year in January, February, March, April, May, year and 5 months. The learning curve for both of us, I'm sure, has been exceptional. It's just, there's been so much learning that has taken place. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And so whether this ever turns into something that we put full-time effort into and we're making something from it, I don't know. But the skills that have been picked up are usable skills that can be used somewhere else. And therefore, I don't think it's a bad, because he was kind of don't do it. I don't want the competition, but I think he was joking about that.
Yeah, I think he was too.
Yeah, I think it was more don't do it because you just don't know what you're getting into. But I would say do it because you're going to learn so much from doing it. And so just as a, can I talk about that? So taking all the skills, like what is it taken to start a YouTube channel to learn like all the stuff that I've learned and get it to, what are we at? Like 1,100 followers now, subscribers.
Yeah.
So next year, if we go back to school the way we're supposed to, even if we don't, I actually put a class together called Creators and Influencers, where I'm going to take the kids and have them make a brand and build a brand around their community and start it out and get them into it. Get them into like the whole filming aspect, using Premiere Pro to like cut everything down, because they have at the school access to cameras, they have access to microphones, they have a recording studio, they have access to the software. So we're going to like, let's take all the skills that I've kind of, and everything I've learned from doing this. I still have a lot to learn, so we're going to work on together, but actually do something, make something with the kids. So I think it'll be fun. Total. That's one of our famous rabbit holes, I guess. But
well, I mean, you know, it's kind of funny. Like, you've always had some level of a side hustle for different things, right? From breeding reptiles to college to, you know, I know that I'll give you a minute, to you know, doing your online grad school teaching. And so you sort of looked at this as, could this grow into that? Maybe. For me, it was like, how do we connect with people, and how do we get to try different stuff out? And you think people will ever actually send us stuff to try out? You know, it was just kind of a, if we ever make a go at this and actually make a few bucks, it'll be a total bonus. But you know, hats off to Jason for taking the time to figure out how to do all of the editing and all of that. You know, I sadly joke that I'm the eye candy of the operation. Although today I did use a Tascam and a Sennheiser mic, and
yeah, we should get into that.
Recorded something, yeah.
So I mean,
but back real quick. So BV Ninja checking in, saying salute to you as well. He said that he talked to both Robert Keeley and Zach Boyles, and they are very busy. And I see that from Zach, because I do like chime in on his live streams and stuff. You know, he got kind of swamped from his That Pedal show and Anderton's trip over to the other side of the pond, and then he's building custom pedals for Carter Vintage, who he used to work for. And so we still hope to have Zach on. Interesting guy. And Robert Keeley is Robert Keeley. But anyway, I probably
Ben comes too. Hey Ben,
yeah,
happy late birthday.
Recovering from your birthday.
We're still celebrating, right? His birthday. It's like
yeah.
Ben has like a birthday month, right? It's not a birthday.
Sure.
Happy birthday
for crying out loud.
Yeah. So I mean, you're right. It's kind of like how I like hobbies that sustain themselves in some way.
Yeah.
Right. Whether when I first, you know, when I was playing guitar, get in a band, start gigging. The gigging creates money to buy guitars, whatever. So I do like things that sustain themselves. So I do think that there's a ability in some fashion for this to sustain itself. Although, like, you got to buy cameras, you got to buy mics, you got to buy computers, whatever, hard drives and things like that. So there's a long-term initial investment that it's going to take a long time maybe to get through. But I like that. And I think it will be cool to I think it will be really exciting to take those skills that I've learned and start working with a group of like 10. I think I have 18 students that are interested in it, right? So getting a group of 18 students that are like, hey, let's do this. Let's build something. Which is so much, think back to high school, like so much better than, you know, here's an assignment. Everybody open Premiere Pro and click on file. That's not the way we're going to approach it. We're going to approach it just like everybody in here that has their own channel approached it. Like, how do you do it? And let's do it. And let's make it happen. Pat talked about how he did that. So let me show you. Do you want to share a little bit?
Yeah, you could show some of the soft underbelly. You know, I thought about that earlier. I didn't know if you'd want to get into that, but like a real practical thing. Like Jason dropped off a Tascam handheld recorder, a mic cable, a Sennheiser mic, and the recently modded Telecaster. And so, yeah, I think it's cool.
Yeah, so because we're kind of like social distancing here, this one's been a little different approach. But so we have like kind of the initial videos where it's just explaining it, just me this time, where it's normally both of us sitting on the couch, and audio, because I'm lazy, instead of like hooking up the initial mics and setting everything up, I just was like, well, I'm gonna get in the corner of the room, turn the camera on, have a Rode shotgun mic on top of the camera, recorded the audio that way. Then we sent it to Chris. And when I sent it to Chris, I don't have one sitting here. I gave him like this little cell phone tripod. I'm like, just record us something, that we could drop in the video. So he waited till he got all done, recorded that, set up the little tripod thing with the cell phone on and recorded it. So we're dealing with his cell phone audio. And there's something going on. I don't know if he has a fan on his ceiling or what, but there's like a thump, 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 thump in the recording. So you'll see like in the editor, and this is Premiere Pro. I don't know if any of you guys use Premiere Pro. But in the editor, we have like this little, his vocals are pulled down here to another track because I'm going to try and like clean some of that background hum out of his vocals. And I don't know. But it was cool because we could drop some pictures. He sent us pictures. So, we can drop the pictures that he's sent along, kind of overlay them a little bit on the video. Back to the explanation of how the clips are set up. Show a picture of the amp settings, show a picture of the gain changer we used, and then all the different clips of the guitar playing. So now we're back to like the camera, and all the sound is coming through the mic, through the Focusrite, right into. And I've been using iTunes. The Adobe Premiere package comes with Audition, and my workflow in GarageBand for what we do at the level that we do it, my workflow in GarageBand's like. It's like dead on. Like I can do it super fast. I can cut out the vocal mics when they need to be cut out and put the back and forth really super quick. So I'm kind of afraid to switch to Audition, although it's a much better program. So I don't know. If anybody uses Audition, let me know. Maybe we can hang out. You can walk me through it. I don't know. And so then Pat today took the telly and recorded with his cell phone him playing it. And you see down here is the cell phone audio. And then that's been cut. And he had one of these. He had this one. So I'll show that. I don't know if anybody cares about this, but it's giving us something to talk about. He had one of these. So we dropped the little Sennheiser microphone in front of the amp, ran it straight into the XLR of this. He recorded that. So what you're seeing on that Premiere Pro thing is the Sennheiser mic here, and then down here is the cell phone. And you notice I dropped them way down because I'm a newbie at this stuff still. And so we're throwing some stuff on here because it had like the hum from the guitar was coming through. And I think we were able to actually cut some of that out. And I know you can't hear it.
Fender Custom Shop Twisted Telly pickups, Fender branded Bigsby, through a PV Classic 30 with a TL honker pedal and a Carl Martin red repeat.
But I'm pretty happy with the recording from the Tascam. It sounds good.
And that was the first time I used a Tascam with the external mic. I took one of those Tascams when I went to Nashville and did the interviews with Brody and Sal, but that was the first time that I tried that to plug an external mic, and you had that Sennheiser that you sent over. So, yeah. But I'm literally sitting in the same setup. I was going to run a mic out into the other room, but I'm literally a foot from the amp. So, you're running any pickup with gain in it. It was really noisy. So I, of course, gave Jason a challenge. Hey, I turned around my assignment pretty quickly, but I gave you some crap to work with. Enjoy.
Right. Well, I mean, I think it worked all right.
It was better, obviously, when I turned the drive off, which has nothing to do with the TL honker and everything to do with my proximity to the amp.
So that needs to be tacked on, and then I think we're gonna, after we're done here, probably record the final thoughts and tack them on through a live stream, a recorded live stream that we're gonna tack on to the end. So the issue becomes trying to get all of those volumes from all the clips, all the talking, from the iPhone mics, the Tascam, the Focusrite, the Rode mic, get it all to be kind of And I mean, we're not perfect. We try to get it the best we can. I know like that pedal show, they have amps mic'd with like a condenser mic and then like a 57. I don't know what they use. I don't think they use a 57, but something like that, dynamic mic. They have room mics on it. So they're running multiple audio sources to really get it. We're kind of like, let's just do a decent mic right into the interface and then to GarageBand or whatever. And I don't know. I think you can hear the difference.
Yeah, this is a lot of moving parts, right? It's you with the pre pickup exchange and Bigsby. It's with cell phone video from Chris as he's working on the project. You with the post comparisons. Me with a cell phone and a Tascam, and then now you get to stitch it all together and make something of it. It's definitely honing your skills during this social distancing time. But Sebastian Falvo jumping in. Good to see you, man. We talked about a love pedal earlier that may not be one that you caused us to buy, but thanks for jumping in. Hope you're doing well.
So, and all of it, in the end, all of it is to, like, we're not, there's no video editing background recording. Like, Henny at least has, Henny went to Berkeley for, like, audio engineering and stuff. Like, the guy, come on. I mean, he knows what he's doing. And actually, it's really funny that Sebastian jumped in because we had this conversation with Sebastian. Like, we just got done saying that we recorded the amp, put a nice mic in front of the amp interface into the computer 99% of the time. Today, Pat dropped an amp and used the Focusrite. Sebastian, when he does his demos, it's his cell phone sitting in front of the, he's talking to the cell phone mic. That pedal show did a whole episode on like comparing their like huge setup of multiple mics to the cell phone, and some people preferred the cell phone. So yeah, it is. I mean, it is what it is to try and get some kind of accurate representation. But anyway, this video probably, if we get the final thoughts done and I can get that in, and you can see like it's done up to here. We just got to start stitching Pat's playing. And I don't know if there needs to be some kind of transition videos shot for that. And then the final thoughts all together. And I think it's hopefully out tomorrow maybe. But that's kind of what it looks like back end wise.
Yeah, Sebastian's saying the only issue with the cell phone is you can hear the strings if it's not loud enough. That's a true story because you got to get your phone close enough to your playing and have your amp close enough that it sounds good, but far enough where you can juice the volume. It is a mix because I know during this quarantine time I shot a couple things and just kind of threw them out on social media, and some of them you really could hear the strings over the amp. But yeah, I think everyone's kind of learning through this process, right? Like it's kind of forced people to go in directions they might not have gone.
So he thinks, like I remember having that conversation with Sebastian about the iPhone audio. And I guess that's kind of the same thought that we had, like, because when we first started, we had like a condenser mic. We were going to try the multiple mic things on an amp. And we just kind of got down to like, like real basic. Let's put a decent mic in front of an amp. I don't do any, like, I really don't touch sound editing. Like you see sound editing's on here and you can see on like the track for Pat, there's like a denoise thing, which I don't even know if it's really doing what I think it's doing, but it made it better. Yeah. So I'm going to leave it there. An EQ and dynamics on that cell phone track to clean up the vocal audio. But the guitar audio, we don't do any processing of that.
Exactly. Right.
I mean, it is whatever that mic picks up, it gets recorded. There's no like compressor put on, no EQ changes. There's no, I don't think. Is there any?
Yeah, and I don't think you've really done much with that ever. And I think for us, it's a little bit of a learning curve. And I think if you look at the unboxing and a quick look for the JHS PG14, that was a bit of a learning curve, right? Because I joke all the time, not joke, I say all the time that when we're sitting in Jason's basement where he's broadcasting from now, we're I don't know, 10 feet from the amps, 12 feet. They're kind of pointed not at us, but across. And so we kind of get, like, I think Jack the Rabbit says he likes to hear the in-the-room demos as well as a higher quality direct recording. Well, when we're playing, we're not playing with cans, right? So we're hearing the amp in a room. We're playing to that dynamic and that sound. But, you know, we have the mics like you would mic an amp. I mean, they're like this close. And so every once in a while, what comes through on the track from the mic is at odds with what we're hearing in the room. And I think the PG-14 was an example of that, where we were juicing the input, basically. And it sounded great because the amp was kind of like choking out like they said it would, but it really was super flubby up that close. So we're kind of learning a little bit about that, right? But we really kind of go with what we hear in the room and have the amps on 3 or 4, reasonably loud, no cans. Yeah, so we're just trying to figure out as we go, and most of the time it's fine. That PG-14 one, yeah, could have been better, but it was really the unboxing and a quick look, and so when we revisit that pedal, we'll figure out a way to deal with that.
And so BV Ninja said at TPS those mics are run through Mike Prees and the UA Apollo 8. Yeah, I mean they have and they have videos out there that show you their setup. Their setup is killer, right? And they spend a lot of time to get like a really good sound, and they have that knowledge to do that. And maybe more important than the knowledge, they have the equipment to do that too, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I can see benefits in all. I think, like, we go for consistency sometimes. Like with the Tele demo here that's coming out, we recorded the stock Mexican Tele pickups and that Fender Deluxe with Hot Rod Deluxe with one pedal. Chris had the guitar for 3 weeks. I didn't touch the amp. I didn't turn it.
Right.
I didn't do anything. The amp and the pedal were exactly the way they were when it was like, so should I dial the amp in maybe to the new pickups? Maybe. But the thought was if we keep everything exactly the same, maybe that allows you to hear the difference in the pickups a little bit better. So what's changed from video A to video B? The only thing that's changed is the fact that there's different pickups and a different bridge because the Bigsby's on it now. So that hopefully allows you to hear maybe how those pickups are a little different. Doesn't mean they're sounding the best they could sound, but it can tell you that they're different and how they're different.
You know, that's a good point too, because I'm looking down here. I didn't touch anything on the Classic 30 here that I'm using. I didn't change anything. I made some very mild changes on the Honker Overdrive because, you know, it does have a tone and a drive and a volume, but I was more just trying to get more of a unity sound. So I didn't even sit here and tweak, you know, ad nauseum because I was playing that Tele with those new pickups for the first time. Now, I didn't have the A comparison. I didn't have what you had. But even with that, I didn't sit here and twist knobs until I thought the guitar sounded magical. I just like plugged into the rig and I thought those pickups sounded really great. Yeah. So again, we're not. I don't know. I think the point here is we kind of go with our gut. I think some of the demos that we started getting into the formula of how would you use this pedal, right? No right or wrong. How would you use it? And so, and we didn't spend a lot of time. I mean, we might maybe spend 5 minutes with a pedal, if that, before we actually record. And poor Jason gets the brunt of it because he's running around checking everything else, and I'm over there wanking away with the pedal. So if anything, we demo a pedal. I've had a few minutes with it while he's checking mic levels and things like that. So it really is a pretty pure. We're not spending weeks to do this. We're just like, hey, we get this pedal. I think we're like everybody else. We get this pedal. Can we twist a couple knobs to get something we like out of it? And how would we use it? So anyway. Yeah.
Well, except for the ones that you need to read the owner's manual, because sometimes you actually need to read the owner's manual to understand what the heck they're doing. But see, Hacks is in here. Welcome, Hack. It's always good to see you, man. And a couple days ago, he did send us a picture of his pedal board. So we could do Are You Bored today.
I think you should.
Still wish we had the stinger, right? The Are You Bored stinger. Are you bored?
Schwung.
So just a shout out if anybody else has a pedal board that you haven't sent over yet. Just go to the PJ and the Beard Facebook page and shoot us an instant message with a picture of your pedal board so we can put it up. We'd love to show it. I'm trying to think. A couple people have sent them. But so we'll do Hack if you're all right with it. We'll throw yours up. Right. And so BV said they started with only a Zoom H4n Pro and then a Zoom FN8 before the switch to. Yeah, because they used to do all of the recording, like kind of like on our Tascam thing, but it was like an 8-input bigger one, right? They had like 8 inputs or whatever, but it's like a portable that they did everything on. And so BV, I don't know. I've seen BV Ninja in some other chats and stuff. I don't know your whole story, but I know that in some way you do work with the guys at the pedal show. Is that right? How do you know those guys? I guess. I mean, we don't know everybody. We don't know what we're talking about 90%.
We know more people that know us. We're trying to change that.
I tried to figure out a way to send the guys at that pedal show an email, but they get so much stuff that there's probably no way to get through. Because I thought, how cool would it be to hang out with them for an hour on one of these discussions? You know, like,
oh my, yes, yeah,
because it'd be kind of cool to, you know, they interview everybody, right? It'd be kind of cool to not necessarily interview, but just hang out and talk to them and find out a little more about them. Anyway, yeah, he said 8 inputs.
Nice.
They were his friends before that pedal show started. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Ask them if they're bored and they, you know, it would absolutely not help them in any way, shape, or form to spend an hour talking to us.
True. It would
be a lot of fun for us and the few people, and maybe for the like people that join in, they would actually, because I've gone to their live chats before. My gosh, you want to see a chat fly? Go to a pedal show live chat. There's so many people in there talking to them.
Yeah, for us, it would be an 8-lane superhighway if they came on. For them, it would be a one-way dead-end street. Why are we in this car? Where are we going?
Well, and we found, it's funny, we got Pat Hack's board up here. We got to get to that because we're running out of time. But we found, like, we thought we'd get Josh Scott on. You think, oh, man, he has, like, how many 100,000 people following him? It's going to be a big show. There's so much stuff out there about Josh that people don't tune in because they see him all the time. So I'm not even sure that it would be that big of a thing for us to have him on. It would be huge for us to have him on, but it wouldn't be like, as far as subscriber increase or traffic, it probably wouldn't make that much of a difference.
Yeah, we got more traction with David Barber because I think he's like in the witness relocation program. You know,
right?
Like,
there's nothing on the internet about Dave. We do that interview with him and put it out in 3 days. It has more views than Josh Scott's video had in like a month, 3 months. It was crazy,
right?
Because he has his following.
Nice.
Yeah, that's cool. So, Hack's pedal board. Let's check it out. So, if you haven't done so for the last 3 minutes, why we kept gabbing. I see tuner, Polytune. Good choice on the tuner. The EP booster. So I'm trying to figure out. I'm thinking it almost feels like he comes in the top, follow my mouse, and goes around, and then comes down and out the bottom. See what I mean? I can't see the routing, but I'm figuring it's like that. So we have the I think that's a TC electronic compressor. Is it the Gravity? I think. What do you think? Volume pedal or wah? I'm going with wah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a combo. I'm looking over because I have the Morley combo wah volume. Yeah.
Pure Sky, which we have that pedal. That's another one we need to add to our list of pedals to film because we have not filmed that yet. And you did pick that one up through a Craigslist find, if I remember.
Yep. It was from our friend Dan Pratt who let us use this Tajima. Guitar Hack said start at the tuner and end at the EP booster.
Yeah, called it right. And that Pure Sky, we used it, I think, on one video. We plugged it in one night. It sounds awesome.
Right.
And I've never. Go ahead.
I think it cost me a show T-shirt.
Right, you traded a T-shirt for it.
Right.
The LPD
That I paid for.
87 maybe. So we don't even need to. There's two LPD pedals, right?
Yeah, yeah.
2 Lawrence Petrots pedals. We have yet to hear one in the room ourselves yet. You can't go wrong. Everybody's raving about them. TC Electronic Flashback. You get anything you can need out of that. I had that pedal for a while. It's a really nice delay. The Corona. Oh man, he's walking around with a Corona on his board.
Yeah, my coughs were in the prequel for that Corona there. Sorry.
So this is a LPD2 hack. I think a boost of some sort, right?
6 knobs.
Then the Hall of Fame reverb at the end, and then the EP booster. So are you running 2 boosts there? Is that a booster or a drive?
Well, one of those minis must be because Hack said 3 LPD pedals. So yeah.
Yeah, it's the Javelina. Somebody asked what the Pure Sky. Yeah, Pure Sky is a clone of the Timmy.
Yeah, it's like a Timmy. Yeah, Timmy clone.
EP booster is always on. Okay, gotcha. You know, here's what I love. Some people have like this thing with pedal boards, and if you're cockeyed, right, your pedals are a little cockeyed. They really the OCD about pedals being straight on pedal boards. I'm not so bad with that, but that EP booster being upside down, that's the one that I'm just like, why is that upside down?
That's where you draw the line. Like, it can be crooked, just don't put one upside down.
Right.
How do you feel about sideways?
I just don't. And people do that. They put them sideways and upside down, even when they're like tucked in and everything like fits together like a Tetris puzzle. For some reason, I can't. I can do the cockeyed thing. Like, if you don't have them straight, whatever. But that when they're upside down, for some reason, that starts to mess with my OCD.
I guess when you have a switcher and they're put any way possible, that makes sense. But yeah,
Javelin is a lead boost.
Of course, he said that EP is on all the time, so he doesn't have to worry about stepping on the knob when he's going for the switch. So,
right, and I can pull that out of the stream just for a second. This is Are You Bored? Let me pull that out of the stream because we're going to show Hack's other pedal board. And we've been saying ever since he started this that he needs an intervention. There's his other pedal board. Shaking my head. No, we still love you, Hack. I mean, it's all right. You're still top. You're still good.
those are for the fly dates.
Right. Oh my. I have trouble having enough of attention span to dial in a pedal with 3 knobs on it. So,
but here's what we've kind of unofficially talked about. You know, our friend SD kind of went this way too. That if we were ever going to do this, we would bring in a friend that we know that is familiar with them and can like really probably feature them better than we could. If we get to that point. I mean, we have that perpetual laundry list of things to do. But if we ever did it, we'd probably call SD and have him bring it over and let him kind of go through a little bit of it.
Jack says it looks easier to him. Well, there's no pedals upside down on that one. They're all straight and aligned.
That's right.
I don't know what to say.
Not a thing out of place.
Phoebe said it plays havoc with his OCD too. So, anyway, I don't know how we got through that hour because I was thinking we were
right
running out of stuff to
well, we've one thing we learned today. If you need the vamp for about 7 minutes, start talking about female guitar players. There's 7 minutes of your show right there.
Brian says he's fighting modeling, kicking and screaming. You know, I mean, if somebody offered me HX effects, I would take it and I would play with it. I would try it. I'm not sure I'm ready to invest yet. I do think, man, like what a great product to have I used to carry 2 amps to every gig I played, because what happens if one of them went down? When you're playing 2 amps, that's a possibility. I mean, could you get through a gig? Would it be worth? I don't know.
Well, you and I have talked about that, but never did anything about it. Even in our current, gig that we do at the church, we have live amps there. But we've talked about, do we throw some type of modeler somewhere on our chain in the event that something tragic happens and one of my amps in the back room is not a viable option? So,
well, and I've even thought about it for the stereo rig too. Like having the Hughes and Kettner Rotosphere. Could you run a stereo rig with one real tube amp and one modeler? I don't know.
All right.
I just don't want to listen to it through. I still don't like in-ears, and I don't know.
We don't want these.
Right. I don't want in-ears. All right. I think we're about there.
Yeah, I think so. Thanks for joining in on Memorial Day, because even though we're in this weird state of mind, through my neighborhood, people out mowing and probably some grills fired up. So thanks for jumping in and joining us, and especially having a Sebastian Falvo sighting, virtually at least. So,
yeah, if you didn't catch the interview we did with him, because we've done some of the interviews we've done of people that you would know, like some of the pedal manufacturers and stuff. But Sebastian, I'm not sure how big his internet following is. And if you haven't seen that one, check it out. But go to his channel and subscribe. What an incredible player. And definitely follow him on Instagram too, because his Instagram posts are great too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, BB Ninja said, they all get the job done. Most Nashville session guys, friends have HX stomps, except for Guthrie. But, it's interesting because a friend of mine is a producer in Nashville, and, he has Jerry McPherson, and he does some stuff with Brent Mason. And a lot of times, a Kemper or Helix certainly shows up with them. My friend Sal has gone to them and said, hey, what kind of cabinet or amp would be good to have here? And they all bring their pedal boards and stuff. But, yeah, there's modeling stuff that those guys bring in the studio for sure. So
yeah, I don't know. Maybe. All right. So with that, all we need now is BB Ninja to tell the boys that I sent them an email.
Yeah,
even though it said don't send us an email, I sent them an email. So if they go back about 2 months ago, they could find that email and they can respond to it and tell me no.
That's right.
Anyway, with that, I think that's everything, right? So
yeah, that's everything.
See you again tomorrow, probably. I guess I would just say we're hoping to get together and record. We have a secret pedal that we have to record before June, so there might be a day this week we don't see you, but we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll have to. You and I will have to talk about that as well. But yeah, so thanks for joining in, especially on Memorial Day. Thanks to all of those who have served and are serving, and those who've had family members in the service. That we are who we are because of them, and we will never take that for granted. So, with that, I am PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you, no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear. And here comes the Tim 10.
Oh, the StreamYard filter.
Yes.